Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. I'm Mike Phillips, and I was drawn to this faith because I had UU friends in my high school in Madison, Wisconsin. I saw them standing up for classmates who were bullied by others, and I was with them. When my wife Diane and I moved here and decided to church shop in 1995, we agreed to start at First UU San Antonio, and we've never looked back. We've been involved with the Social Justice Committee since 1997, which led to our ongoing involvement with our interfaith community organizations, COPS and Metro. We also helped start the Texas UU Justice Ministry, where I currently serve as board chair. To begin our service today, let us acknowledge that the land under our feet of what we now call San Antonio has history. These are the traditional lands of the Tonkawa and Paella bands of the Kwaltican people. They are the original and indigenous stewards of this land, and we owe them respect and honor. At our church, we believe and act from a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice for all and for our planet. If you are new to us or visiting for the first time, we welcome you to sign in on the chat stream. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. Wherever you are on your life's journey, be assured you're welcome round here.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, oh my soul, when I was sinking down, oh my soul. When I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow, and with thanks unto the end I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Deep calls unto deep, joy calls unto joy, light calls unto light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope.
And as one flame lights another, nor grows the less, we pledge ourselves to be the bearers of light wherever we are.
We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings in both forgiveness and grace, whole and reconciled. We know that this aim takes work, and so we are committed to live and behave as a community in covenant. Let us recite our covenant that articulates our guidelines and binds us together in community. The words can be found on your screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. We join together on a special day today, Valentine's Day, to examine the mystery and experience of love. We ask how we might become more loving people and how love will change us. May we truly worship together and experience the power of words, music, images, ideas, and emotions. At First UU, we are committed to shaping a better world. It's through our community efforts to create a more connected, engaged, and involved people that we will, in turn, work for a just and equitable society. These inward and outward actions, combined with our central act of being together in worship, are what unites us. We are grateful that you have joined us here today.
As a way for us to connect as a community, you are invited to share a joyful event, a sorrow, or a concern by entering it on the chat string. Please let us know what is in your heart, for ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we come fully alive. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are heard and held in compassion. At this time of uncertainty, may we listen more deeply and grow more involved with and connected to each other. Let's join now in silent meditation as we write our joys and sorrows on the chat screen while Jaime plays our meditation music. I invite you to take a deep, cleansing breath and exhale. For all our joys, sorrows, and concerns, may we feel empathy and compassion. For all that is unspoken, may the caring of our community offer a space of deep kindness, loving, and just action.
I am Brian.
And I'm Carlos.
And today we're going to be reading I Am Love,
A Book of Compassion by Susan Verdi.
When I see someone going through a storm of hurt and unfairness, of anger and sadness,
when the sun disappears and the skies grow dark, and I see there is fear,
I ask myself, what can I do to help let the light back in?
I put my hands on my heart and I listen, and that is where I find the answer.
I have compassion. I act with tenderness.
I am love. I can listen and not say a word. I can be there. Love is being present.
I can hug and hold and say, everything will be all right. Love is comfort.
I can speak softly and choose my words and actions carefully. Love is gentle.
I can give thanks for all I have and am able to share. Love is gratitude.
I can keep my mind and body safe and healthy. Love is taking care of me.
I can express what's important to me. Love is creative.
I can know that no one is perfect. Love is understanding.
I can do my best to make things better when something is wrong. Love is effort.
I can celebrate those I've loved before. Love is remembering.
I can find goodness in a kind word, a helping hand, or a shared smile. Love is tiny gestures.
I can breathe in the air that the whole world shares and know all creatures are made from the very same stardust. Love is connection.
When the clouds roll in for others and for me, I know now there is something I can do.
I can let my heart lead the way. I am love.
You are love. We are love. And with love, we will weather the storm and light up the sky together.
It is now time for the offertory. The offering is a sacrament of the free church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation for our shared hopes and values. You may make an offering on our online giving portal through the link on the screen while we enjoy our musical anthem, Estrellita by Manuel Ponce, performed by our guests Sean Corbett and Aaiden Witten.
Hi, my name is Sean Corbett. This is Aaiden Witten, and today we will be performing Estrellita by Manuel Ponce. Estrellita
thankful for the beauty and the responsibility we shoulder to support ourselves and those with whom we share our largesse. I'm also grateful to one of my mentors, John O'Donohue. For these words I paraphrase. May we live this day and every day with compassionate hearts, reasoned and clear words, gracious awareness and courageous thoughts, willingness to change, and generosity in love. Amen. Today's message is entitled, Love Perseveres. The poet Rilke wrote, "For one human being to love another, that is perhaps the most difficult of all our tasks, the ultimate, the last test and proof, the work for which all other work is but preparation." That's from On Love and Other Difficulties by Rainer Maria Rilke. These few words provide an accurate overview of what an intimate relationship presents. A most difficult work and also a calling to vast expansion. A deep, loving, and honest connection to oneself and to another always leads in both directions, inward and outward. It summons tremendous personal challenges and inspires us to expand to unforeseen new directions. We cannot separate that which is closer to us than our breath from that which is unlimited. They both are on a vast continuum. Now, these two forces, inward and outward, makes love a powerful experience. Today we'll look at the psychological and spiritual dimensions of love. And let's start by considering what is most valued about love. People mention joy, passion, acceptance, surrender, curiosity, aliveness, creativity, trust, appreciation, and expressiveness of our sensations. Now, in the fervor of falling in love, we may not realize that these life-expanding qualities actually describe who we really are, our own true nature. Each of us is essentially comprised of these qualities. Hence, love might be defined as a reflection of the essential components of who we really are. Now, the dynamic of opening to another in love gives us a glimpse of what it's like to be fully present and awake to the reflection of our own essential nature. Another way of saying this is that opening to another nurtures the dormant seeds of our true nature. Some may view falling in love as a delusion or a temporary psychosis, which is true when we attribute these life-expanding qualities only to our partner as the sole source, instead of recognizing that what we value in them is already always ours. The kind of expansive love we find, especially in a new intimate relationship, is often spoken of as passion. It's an unconditional, immediate, unfabricated resonance with life inside us, connecting with life outside us. This resonance with a greater reality is an essential component of our being, of our presence, like the ah that we utter in wonder when we come upon something so beautiful that it takes our breath away. Love is vast. because our human nature is unlimited. Our essence reflects and contains the whole range of peaceful and wrathful energies of earth, fire, water, and air, not to mention a cosmos infinitely vast. Yet we usually only inhabit a small portion of our being. Psychologically, we live on an island comprised mainly of our conditioned self, a complex of memories, notions, and images, stories of ourselves that constitute our identity as we know it. It's really a kind of false self. And part of our spiritual journey, though, is learning how to dismantle and disengage from these limiting stories and to identify with our larger self. And the experience of love is the greatest vehicle for this transformation. For most of us, our seeds of potential have gone dormant or have become a mere shadow of their natural shape during the course of our development. If we only experienced love with conditions, or have never been encouraged to become fully ourselves, or had to shut down our feelings to protect ourselves from pain inflicted by a parent, sibling, or others in our young lives, then we may protect our true nature deep beneath distorted layers of our memories, survival strategies, and judgments. Emily Dickinson describes this shutting down when she writes, "There is a pain so utter, it swallows being up, then covers the abyss with trance, so memory can step around, across, and upon it." As children, the pain of not being truly seen or loved is so utter that we shrivel and disconnect from the original openness of our being. And most of us have experienced this disconnection. We were told that children were to be seen and not heard, and other behaviors from adults and parental figures in which we felt discounted, that someone else was one up to our one down. This feels like a loss that leaves behind what Dickinson calls the abyss, our original wound, which we cover with, as Dickinson says, a trance, which is a kind of a habitual, half-conscious life comprised of our beliefs, emotional programming, imaginings, and the stories of who we think we are. Haven't you been with someone who constantly identifies with an injury or illness or diagnosis that has become such a part of their life that they lead with that story every time in sharing about their life? They've become that story. These are survival strategies and emotional programs that help us get by. They elicit the kind of response that we've become comfortable with receiving. Yet they do not recognize or support who we really are. They actually block out our deep-seated potential for joy, truth, passion, acceptance, vitality, and all those qualities that we spoke about earlier, that are contained in our true nature, that we, for the most part, unknowingly long to discover and express. Now, when we feel and experience a deep, loving connection with someone, we remember these seeds of potential and promise. Yet, since we have a hard time perceiving our own inherent qualities and vastness because of our wounds, we project these qualities outward instead, where they're easier to see. We find the radiance of our own being in our beloved. The deeper the experience of love goes, the more it brings the old patterns and pains to light from their hidden abyss. A genuine love connection always challenges any identity with its freedom. This is when people back out of relationships because they don't know if they can actually handle them. They can't actually handle the freedom. And especially when we're exploring a new depth of connection we've never known before, we can tap into old subconscious beliefs that we're flawed and don't deserve this. And this reminds us of a time when we were betrayed, and we get afraid to proceed any further. We settle for backing out or damaging our love relationship with our belief that this simply can't last, and we have to justify its demise in order to return to our old stories, the old scripts. Often the dissolution of this love is accomplished through blaming the other for his, her, or their shortcomings, which fits nicely into our stories of what we are seeking or lacking. What can help us hold on to love productively? Love reveals the essential rawness of being human, yet the heart, as a psychological spiritual element, is always pliable and receptive. We speak of a broken heart, yet hearts don't really break. What breaks may be a metaphysical wall around the heart, a defensive psycho-emotional armor we have constructed to try to protect our soft spot, our wound, where we feel most deeply affected by life and by other people. And that break can be a good thing if we know how to manage it. In encountering obstacles to love that bring sorrow and anger, the only way to move through these disappointments without doing harm to ourselves and others is to let our hearts open up even further in the moments we most want to shut it down. How can we do this? First, in reference to ourselves, it's important to accept the childhood or past relationship pain, rather than stuffing that reality and faking a love that masks the pain. You need to identify what the sources of the pain are and the characteristics in an intimate partner that triggers them. You may need the help of a close family member or good friend or therapist to even see these sources of pain. We have to start with being fully present to our hurt and anger without trying to fix them. In opening to the pain of loving, we all are going to bleed. Yet the bleeding itself, when met with conscious warmth and sharing, help awaken the heart, softening the protective armor, and allowing the larger force of love to keep flowing into and out of our heart. Second, we remove obstacles to love by opening our heart to disappointments and not cutting off those who disappoint. Disappointments in our beloved are as inevitable as disappointments in ourselves. If our loved one perfectly matched our ideal, we would be in love with a fantasy and not with a real human being. Imperfections give our love traction, some pushback, such that obstacles in relationships move us to grow, stretch, expand, to embrace all that we are. The ripening of love beyond the spontaneous first flash of falling in love becomes a practice of courage and humility, of learning to understand yourself and become fully alive, fully human. Third, letting our heart's armor break open awakens us to the mystery of love. A soft heart is our vehicle for transmuting both the beauty and the beast within us, which are always intertwined as a whole. Our great wound also holds the key to our greatest gifts. Our experience of love can help us awaken our heart and all hearts. Recalling the truth described in the Tao Te Ching, chapter 43, quote, "The softest thing in the universe overcomes the hardest thing in the universe." End quote. Love perseveres by being at once inwardly and outwardly expanding, requiring a softening that overcomes our armor. May you know love. May love transform you. Remember that refrain from Eden Abe's song, Nature Boy. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Happy Valentine's Day. May it be so. I bet you were wondering when we'd ever have an extinguishing of the chalice in our services, our virtual services. Well, it's done. I sprinkled a few quotes from the late John O'Donohue throughout today's service and would like to end with his words. Open quote, "We live between the act of awakening and the act of surrender. Each morning we awaken to the light and the invitation of a new day in the world of time. And each night we surrender to the dark, to be taken to play in the world of dreams where time is no more. At birth, we were awakened and emerged to become visible in the world. At death, we will surrender again to the dark, to become invisible." Awakening and surrender. They frame each day and each life. Between them, the journey where anything can happen, the beauty and the frailty. End quote. And I'll add, to the beauty and the frailty, the love. May you be blessed by love.
Fuente de amor, ven así a mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla al volar su pena mar hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraígame
Please join with us as we enjoy our postlude by Jaime and these final moments to enter your expressions on the chat stream. For those of you willing and available for some much-needed sharing during our coffee hour, we invite you to remain. And for those who may be questioning whether they want to participate in the coffee hour, come. You don't have to stay long. Just let us see your face or your name on the screen, that we may greet you and wish you well. And for those of you who cannot or will not stay, please go forward with our blessing for safety, health, and well-being, for care, for joy, for love. Happy Valentine's Day. We hope to see and hear from you soon.